All right, what's up? So these are the HiFiMan Edition XS, which run off of planar magnetic drivers, and they're insane. So let's talk about it. So the box itself is fairly simple, just brown, fairly recyclable packaging. And it says on the front here, they have their stealth magnet technology on the inside of this headphone. But if we turn it this way here, we got just, a couple specifications if you want to pause and look at that. But for the most part, it's a fairly simple package. Let's go ahead and crack it open from the bottom here. And as you can see, we are actually greeted quite quickly with the headphones. We've got a few little packets. We'll just throw that out. Here's going to be our audio cable. And then underneath that, of course, is going to be the headphones itself. And as you can see, fairly simple, easy, super light. I believe it's 405 grams. And then underneath that, actually, you may want to look at this. This is going to be a headphone stand. So if you do not have one, this will work as a first headphone stand. So this right here, like I said, is going to be the cables. And if we crack it open, couple things in here. So let's move this out of the way. We've got an adapter as well as the cable itself, which is all right. It feels a little bit cheap, but you can actually buy different versions of these. But it just goes straight into a 3.5 millimeter, which of course you can attach this adapter to, just like that. So the headphones themselves are massive, is definitely the first thing I noticed, but they feel really well. Now when I got these the first time, I believe it was the left ear cup was creaking when I would move it back and forth, but since then that has fixed itself. But I mean, they're built well. That is metal right there. Of course, it is the open back design because these are open back headphones, but these are definitely by far the nicest headphone cushions I have ever worn, and are super comfortable for even multiple hours at a time of listening. So these headphones retail for $269, and for that price, you're getting a ton of headphone. And they're okay when listening through, say for example, the headphone jack dongle on the iPhone, but you can very comfortably reach max volume, and they definitely scale very well with more power. So the Edition XS has the impedance of 18 ohms with a sensitivity of 92 decibels. And that means that you will want to pair these with a nice amp DAC like the one I have here called the Shit Gunner. But I tell you, I was really impressed with how these sounded just based off of the headphone jack of my MacBook, which of course rightfully so they should, because the headphone jack is capable of outputting 1.25 volts into less than 150 ohms, and then anything more than that will be 3 volts into, of course, 150 ohms or more. But I mean, look how cool this is, right? Because these headphones are planar magnetic drivers which happen to have an open back, you can clearly see straight through them, which of course, is kind of just a fun little party trick. Quick video interruption though, I recently dropped my first wallpaper pack for anybody who wants a fresh desktop. The wallpapers are beautiful, minimalistic, abstract swirls, of course inspired by the happy bright colors of summer, and you can get them with the link in the description. But what does all of this headphone stuff add up to? And that is a very, very large pair of headphones which are not actually meant to leave your desk. You see, these headphones are designed for the studio. They're wired, and because they are open back, they let all of the noise in and all of your audio out, meaning they are just not suitable for loud, public environments. But there is an upside to this, and that would be Soundstage. And you see, Soundstage is basically a measure of how wide the sound feels. So the wider the soundstage, the closer it will feel to, say, you're in person with a set of surround sound speakers around you. And these headphones have an exceptional soundstage and are widely regarded as honestly some of, if not the best soundstaging headphones for $269. So a close competitor to this headphone would be something like the Sennheiser HD600. And that is a headphone that's widely regarded by many as the go-to reference headphone at an affordable price, and that is because it naturally has a very flat sound signature, which makes it great for, mastering audio, but keep in mind it is on average probably about $100 more than the Edition XS. So while these headphones, the Edition XS, might not come across quite as maybe flat, it still has a fairly flat sound signature, and honestly, whatever you make sound good on these headphones is just gonna sound good everywhere else. But so what does all of this mean for real world use? And of course, how do they sound? Keep in mind, I am no audio expert. I also don't have multi-$1,000, machines in order to test these headphones. But thanks to the headphones.com community, I found this frequency response graph of their sound. And if you don't know what that means, I recommend diving deeper into it, on a separate channel, because I personally don't know quite enough about it to really teach you. But the best way I can describe how these headphones sound is clear. When you put them on and listen to music, it honestly, it feels like you're able to listen to music in a way you haven't before. And I know that's something a lot of people say, but I mean, I really mean it. And to be honest, I love listening to music at high volumes, because with these, instead of when you're turning the music up, it get more harsh, it actually just gets more enjoyable and it's more immersive. You can really pick out even more details. I do want to shift to the build for just a moment, as I mentioned earlier in the video that these headphones do weigh about 405 grams, which is not terrible. They're fairly comfortable. The clamp force is not actually too bad. But I do want to mention that there is a little hot spot that you'll start to get on the top of your head after wearing this headset for, for me, about 20 minutes. And it's just because it's probably not as breathable as other headphones. So of course, keep that in mind. But that's been it. I do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. As a reminder, go check the description for my summer wallpaper pack. Of course, they are abstract wallpapers designed for Macs, iPads, but they are high resolution, so you can crop them in and use them on your phone as you wish. But that's been it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye guys.